Okay, good morning. This is the 4th of June of 2026. We're out here this morning. It's about 7:30, and I'm going to hike part of the Ozark Highlands Trail slash Ozark Keystone Trail that runs here from Robinson Point Trailhead over toward Panther Bay. And just doing this to update. The last video I made of this section of trail is probably three and a half years old. So I thought I would come out here today. It's supposed to be nice and do an update on this section of trail. This trailhead here is where you would come out if you're heading northbound from the Panther Creek trailhead. And then this over here across the road is the trailhead leading here from Robinson Point trailhead and winds its way up and around the lake until it gets over to the Panther Bay trailhead. So we're going to start out this morning. I said it's nice. It's only supposed to be around 80 degrees today, so it should be a very nice day. It's been a while since I hiked this section of trail. I've been working on stuff down in that I wanted to do down in the Leatherwood Wilderness and down on the Sylamore section of the Ozark Highlands Trail. So I haven't been up on this one for a while. I don't think there's been any major changes, but we'll see as we go. Start off with a little bit of a downhill here until this little spur trail from the trailhead hooks into the main trail. This main trail winds around the lake there and crosses the road we were on down by the entry gate down there, and ties into that section of trail that comes up from Panther Creek. So this little spur trail cuts off a little piece of that. You can hike it that way if you want. I have in the past done that, dropped down and done that little loop, but it doesn't add much distance to the hike. So here we are, tying into the main trail. You can see it coming up from down there. And here we'll be going on this way. This should be a pretty good trail. It's a nice wide 4-foot tread. And I know they cleaned it out earlier this year. There'll probably be some growth, but it shouldn't be too bad. So anyhow, I'm going to turn the camera off for now and catch you in a little bit. Okay, just a little way along the trail. Wanted to capture this. We're going to do a little short turn to the right and a steep little downhill that, as you can tell, is got plenty of rocks on it. And that is the nature of this section of the trail going through to Panther Bay. The first 2 to 3 miles of it, 2 miles of it, is a lot of up and down. None of it's terribly long lengthwise, but there are some fairly steep little sections on it. So it will give you a good workout. Once you get past 2 to 3 miles in, there's a section in through there that still has ups and downs, but it's a little more mellow than this first section. So, but it will give you your exercise, that's for sure. Okay, well, you can see the trail going ahead of us here. And we're going to turn and go down another section. I'm going to leave the camera on for just a minute here while we go down this. Again, fairly steep and rocky. You got to watch for the loose rocks. But not too bad. Okay, onward we go. I'll turn the camera off for now. See you later. Well, here's our first little water crossing. And we've had enough rain, we've actually got some water in it. A lot of times this is pretty dry. But it's an easy crossing. And then on the other side, we start one of the uphill grades. And you can see it going on up ahead of us. I will shut the camera off for now. Catch you in a little bit. Okay, we got a small, well, I guess not even a road crossing. It's a driveway crossing. It goes down to one of the resorts here alongside the lake. Okay, on into the trees we go. See you later. Well, not too far from where I turned it off. We got a small tree that's blown down across the trail. There's a couple different ways to get around it. I think I'll just go this way. There we go. That's the easy way around one like that. I'll shut the camera off and see you in a little bit. Okay, here comes our next little stream or gully crossing. There's a little bit of water in here. It's not flowing much. We've had some spring rains, but not a horrible amount. We've got some more scheduled for this coming weekend. So we will see. All right, gonna head out of the gully and back up the hill again. Catch you in a little bit. Okay, got a little bit of a drop down here into the next ravine. Okay, and down here on the right you'll see a picnic table. Along this segment of trail from Robinson Point over to Panther Creek, they have these, it's about every mile, not exact, but it does give you a flavor for how you're doing. So this is from where we left down the spur trail. This is a little less than a mile. There's a, if you'd gone around that loop and come up the rest of the trail by the lake, probably add a couple tenths of a mile or something to it from the last picnic table to this one to make it a mile. But you can kind of count it as a 1 mile marker, if you will. All right, got across there, head on along the lake. I'll shut the camera down, see you in a little bit. Okay, well, we've been trucking along, doing a lot of ups and downs over the ridges and down in the gullies. But thought I'd take here, stop. You can see the climb ahead of us here. And once we get up there, we should not have much further to go to get to the, call it the 2nd mile picnic table. So we've been making decent time. I guess I've been on the trail, what, 40 minutes? So not setting any speed records, but nice and steady. And here's the steep little section. All right, now we're up there. I'll turn the camera off for now. Catch you in a little bit. Okay, wanted to pause here for just a minute and shoot out here to the right. You can see Lake Norfolk out here. This is one of the spots you can get here and get a pretty nice view out across the lake. Of course, in the wintertime with leaf off, it's a little better, but this gives you a little idea of what you can see. Here we go, got a little bit of an opening in the trees here. You can see the bird out there fishing along the surface. So there, that's your scenic viewpoints along here or over the lake. Or I'll go and shut the camera off and see you in just a few. Okay, well, here comes the second picnic table. This is right about 2 miles. And I've been on the trail right at an hour, so that's about right for me, about 2 miles an hour. Well, I'm going to stop here for a minute. The one thing I forgot, I didn't put bug spray on before I left the trailhead. And I've only picked off one, but I have found one tick. So I'm going to stop and do the bug spray, then we'll get going again. See you in a few. Okay, stopped there at that table for about 10 minutes. Took a short breather, got my bug spray out, got my tick repellent, found a couple more on my pants legs while I was doing that, so I'm glad I stopped to do it. They are out today. Yeah, and so we're heading on down from that table, heading on through the trail network here. Okay, nice smooth little section right in through here. After this, there are some ups and downs coming, but it's not, from here on, it's not as bad as that first section. Till you get right over toward the end. There is one piece right along Highway 62 that has a couple pretty good climbs on it. But other than that, this section over to there, like I said, has some ups and downs, but nothing terrible. So, I'll shut the camera off, catch you in a few. Okay, thought I'd turn the camera on. You can kind of get a picture out through the trees here. That long stretch across the skyline there is the Highway 62 bridge, where it goes across Lake Norfolk. So the trail winds its way down and goes underneath the bridge if the lake is not too deep. So it shouldn't be today, but I don't know if I'll go quite that far today. Trying to get at least half the trail today and come back in from the other end and finish it off to get a new video for it. But anyhow, there's the bridge. Here's the trail working its way on through the woods. I'll shut the camera off and catch you in a few. Okay, well, we've been trucking along. We're going to take a little right turn here. And just down here, just a little ways, is the next picnic table. So that should be right about 3 miles in. There we go. And there it is. Well, I'm going to stop here for just a minute. Take a little break. See how much further I want to go. Kind of plan out what I want to do here. Either turn here and go back or go just a little further. Anyhow, I'll shut the camera off. See you in a few. Okay, well, stopped at that picnic table, ate a bite of lunch, and rested for a few minutes. I'm going to go on a little further here, again, to get this whole trail, or a segment of it here. I'm going to have to go around to the Panther Bay trailhead and hike back in from that side. I don't have a shuttle service right now, so I've got to do out and back hikes, which is fine. I don't mind that. That's how I've done most of my hikes. But on longer ones like this, it just means that whatever you cover this first day, you don't have to cover the second day. So I tend to push a little harder on the first day, make it easy on myself. Okay, you can see the trail winding down the hill ahead of us. I'll shut the camera off and catch you in a few. Okay, well, I'm getting close to where I'll probably turn around, but want to catch this. Got a pretty good sized old trunk down across the trail here. But it's easy enough to step over. Just make sure there's nothing laying on the other side waiting for you. Okay, I'll shut the camera off here for a minute and catch you in just a few. Okay, working my way still northbound. Came across this old tree, came down. Looks like you can squeeze through here pretty well. I'm going to do that and go just a little bit further. So I'll cut it off for now and see you in a little bit. Okay, well, I've reached my turnaround point. Coming down here into the last gully before you head up the hill that runs alongside Highway 62. So the trail will run up the hill pretty steeply in a couple spots and then go down to where it can cross underneath the Highway 62 bridge if that's not totally overgrown. But for now, this gets us down to this last gully before we start up the hill. So I'm going to call this section good, shut the camera off, and I'll see you back later. Okay, well, this morning is June 12th of 2026, and I'm back on the Ozark Highlands Trail / Ozark Keystone Trail on the section between Robinson Point and Panther Bay. About a week ago, I came through from Robinson Point to here and turned around and went back. And so I came out this morning to come in from the Panther Bay side and link up my footprints here and hike this on out, get some video of it going on out over to Panther Bay, and then I'll be able to put it out as a complete section out on YouTube and replace the one that is, what, a little over 3 years old or whatever. So anyhow, I've hiked back in here, met up with where I stopped, and now we'll start going back the other way again. This section of the trail, this first 3 or 4 tenths of a mile, is probably the hardest part. It is a fair amount of up and down, and some of it is fairly steep as it winds up a hillside. Runs right alongside Highway 62 for a little bit, but then drops down and goes underneath the Highway 62 bridge, which can be a challenge. Obviously, if the lake is high, you may not be able to get through there, and sometimes the weed growth really gets going. I have gone through there when it was hip high, but today wasn't bad. There were some weeds, but there was a trail you could follow going through there, so you didn't have to wade them. So anyhow, we're gonna work our way back through here, and you can see the trail heading uphill. I'll shut the camera off and see you in a few. Okay, wanted to show you here. There's kind of a fork in the trail. You want to stay to the right. This left fork here will take you out on Highway 62. There may be times that will be useful, but the main part of the trail stays to the right here. And now we're going to go down again for a while. See you in a little bit. And here ahead of us comes another climb. I think this is the last big one coming here along the highway, and we'll drop down, and once we get down along the cove all the way back to the trailhead, there are some ups and downs and small hills going across the Corps of Engineer property, but nothing real bad. So this is these two sections in here are probably the hardest on this part of the trail. So anyhow, I'll shut the camera off and see you in a few. Okay, well, we're coming down off the hillside, off the major league up and down, and we're going to come out here on the flat alongside the cove. Now again, you can see by the driftwood, when the lake gets high, this is going to have water, and I mean, if it's shallow enough, you can go through, or you can go up and cross 62 up there at the top of the hill and go down and catch the trail on the other side of the highway. But today, no water, and the weeds are not too bad. I've seen it hip high, and this is really pretty clean compared to that. So, I think I'm going to stop here at the picnic table, take a quick break, maybe eat a sandwich, and I'll catch you on the other side. See you later. Okay, well, this is where the trail goes underneath the Highway 62 bridge. You can see some of the fishermen out there taking advantage. It's a nice spot along the lake. Now when the lake gets high water, this will be underwater, and I don't know how deep it gets, but that's one of those times you may want to use the alternate route and go up across 62 from the top of the hill back there and come down. If you're going northbound, come down through the Corps of Engineer campground there and hook back into the trail. If you're heading southbound, you would go up through the campground, cross 62, and come down and join somewhere up there along the top of the hill where we were at. But today, that's not a problem. So we'll stick to the standard route. And there we go, looking out across the lake. Well, very good. I'm going to turn and head up the hillside here, so I'll shut the camera off and catch you in a few. Okay, well, we've climbed up away from the lake now. Now we got a pretty good run through the Corps of Engineer property here. Most of this is reasonably level. There's some ups and downs, but not a ton. So all together, this is a nice section to end your hike on. I think it's about a mile back through here to the trailhead. So but you can see the trail winding on ahead of us across the hill. I'll shut the camera off and see you in a few. Okay, just wanted to catch this on the camera. It's not unusual to see a turtle along the trail, but this is a little bitty guy. So Whoops, he says, I'd like to get down, thank you. I will put you back over to the side and let you go on your way. Catch you later. Okay, just to get a short shot here, still going through the core property. You can see what the trail, probably 95% of the trail in through here looks like this. So anyhow, I will cut the camera off and keep trucking along. See you later. Thought I'd catch this. Got a small tree down across the trail here. There's a nice little loop around the top of it here, so it's not a bad thing to go around. There we go. And we're back on the trail again. I'll shut the camera off and see you later. Okay, here's one small ravine crossing along this portion of the trail. There's only a couple, and neither one of them are very big. I thought I'd show you this one. And back up the other side we go. And back into the trees. You can see the trail going up there. I'll shut the camera off. See you in a little bit. Okay, on the way back to Panther Bay Trailhead, you come to this road junction, or the entrance to the Corps of Engineers boat dock and park and everything are down in there. And for the trail, you just angle right across there. The entrance is right on the other side. I got a vehicle coming here. There we go. Okay. Very good. Well, we're on the last trail segment, so I'm going to shut the camera off. I think it's about a couple tenths of a mile or so, maybe 3/10. I'll shut the camera off and catch you in a few. Okay, well, they have built a new parking area here, and the trail, as it was, I think got put on top of it. I don't know. I know when I came out you can come along the hillside there, but it isn't much of a trail. So I'm going to come up here and go up this way a little ways, see if I see anything where I can get up on the trail again. Looks like maybe right there. I'm going to try that. Okay, well, I'm back on it. I'll shut the camera off for now and catch you in a little bit. Okay, well, we're on the last leg. This when we come out down here, we will be at Panther Bay trailhead. And with the 2 hikes I put together, we will have a complete trek from Robinson Point over here to Panther Bay. So, to give you a good idea of what the trail looks like, quite a bit of ups and downs in some places. Other places are pretty smooth and easy. So it'll throw a little bit of everything at you. But anyhow, we are approaching the end. All right, and the Corps does have a swim beach down there, and then they have this pavilion and playground here. So anyhow, this is the end of this trail segment. You can see the wooden railings over there at the other side. That's where it takes off and goes up, and it actually crosses 101, Highway 101 bridge. You have to road walk over to the other side to Bidwell Point. But anyhow, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the hike. Talk to you later.